दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Hello and welcome. You're watching Voltas FreshAir Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live. Now, I know this is not the weekend. It's not even a national holiday. It's perhaps no holiday anywhere. Yet we have this kind of midweek double-header that's happening. So here we are at 3 p.m. India Standard Time, trying to drum up some enthusiasm inside us, right? That people are as crazy about cricket on a Tuesday afternoon as we are. So if you are watching, just send us a little shout out, man. A little encouragement could help. I mean, we are pros and we do get paid either ways. But we would still like to know that someone's out there, right? Talk to us. I'm Gaurav Kapur, with me Lisa Sthalekar and Daddy Cool Simon Doull. Good to have you both here.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. Really good, actually. Nice day yesterday, and we eased into a double header today. 2 for Tuesday, they say. If Danny's on commentary today, it'll be 2 for Tuesday will come out.
Yeah. Chew for Tuesday. Chew for Tuesday, as the great Richie Beno would have said.
Correct.
I just want to say, in this 45-degree heat wave that we're having in Mumbai right now, I'd like to thank Lisa that we're feeling energetic and not at all sluggish with the light snack that we had before the show. I mean, nothing like some healthy deep-fried kachoris to really get you moving.
Good old Gujarati place that I always go to.
Yeah.
Got to bring some snacks, because like you said, Tuesday, it's a little bit random, isn't it, to come in. It's like, no, I've got plenty, no, I've got to go.
And a long day for the crew, and they're very thin.
That's right. So I brought some snacks.
So they've all had kachoris and they're all asleep now. They're napping. So we can't stay up after that. But listen, we're alive, we're awake, and we're hoping that these two teams are alive and awake because they're both mid-table at this point in time. We'll show you the points table and see what the repercussions of this would be for them. They both have a 50-50 record in the 4 games that they have played. It's a really good opportunity, Dooley, for one of them to just pull away and kind of just knock on the door at the top.
Yeah, that little group on 6 points. I mean, two of the top 4 have only played 3 games. And I think that's one of the keys when you look at the points table, particularly Delhi, 3 from 3. But you jump to 6 points, having played 5 games. So 5 of your 14 done. If you're on 6 points, you're in the top 4 of the table after today. Makes for an easier run in the back end. When you look down the bottom, a couple of the teams have played 5.
Yeah.
And that makes their job even tougher. So that middle table, when it comes to the middle of the tournament, becomes really crucial that you get one over the guys that are right beside you or along, or in the same amount of points. So, yeah, big game for both sides. And, hopefully, afternoon game, bit of heat around. I'm a big fan of batting first. We'll find out very shortly about what's happening at the toss. But big fan of batting first in an afternoon contest.
Yeah, well, there is one team batting first, but they didn't choose it.
Well, there you go.
They were put in. They were put in.
Maybe they listened to Haydos, who was saying it's not going to change. But maybe we're old school cricketers.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we are. Well, I'm a bit more old school than you. But I don't know. What do you afternoon games?
I just think, score 200 plus,
bat
put
first.
pressure on, scoreboard, spinners start to come in. No dew, nothing of that kind. So give yourself a chance. And especially if Kolkata is bowling second, they've got some pretty handy spinners.
So they're bowling first, actually. So they won the toss, have put Lucknow in to bat. The interesting thing is that even Risabh Pant said at the toss that he wanted to chase as well. And somehow all of us are in agreement thinking afternoon game, you don't... My logic is simple because all of us have been on the ground there. It is sapping, right?
Yes.
Even if you're a professional athlete, it's sapping. You're spending 20 overs in that heat and humidity, all of you, as opposed to just 2 batters. And then you're getting kind of drained people coming into bat in the second half. That's my point.
And another point I'll make, just keep an eye on the fact that where does your wicketkeeper bat?
Yes,
and for Kolkata,
exactly.
He's under the helmet and he opens the batting.
Yeah.
Heat, 20 overs, under the helmet. Quinton de Kock probably, with the spinners, with the spin options, he's going to be under the helmet for half of those 20 overs.
True.
Out in the heat, 10 or 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and he's got to get out there and bat. Now, that to me is one of the big key points. If your keeper's batting 7 or 8,
that's fine.
I actually don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But think about your opening batter.
Love it.
Great as well. And just so keep an eye on that and that heat sapping. That's why I think 2 out in the middle, getting drenched with the ability to come back and have a shower before they go out and field later on is way better than 11 out in the middle.
Yeah, but it is Lucknow who's going to be batting first, and a batting unit that's actually in good form, especially when we talk of 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3 effectively, Lisa, that's the key, right, to a big total. That's your elixir, so to speak, if your 1, 2, 3 are in form. Yes, they have a problem that they're not getting runs 4 onwards, which is Rishabh Pant, and we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about the good stuff, which is especially Mitchell Marsh and Nicholas Pooran, who's leading the run chart.
Nicholas Pooran, for me, is the number one white ball batter going around. Like
ATM at the moment?
Yes. His ability just to go bang, but then we saw, what was it, against Punjab, 44, where he had to grind and he had to think.
Beautiful, yeah.
And I like a thinking batter. I don't like a flat track bully because you're not going to always get that. Yeah. And especially in this competition around India, you're not going to get that. So whilst he didn't really go to his heights in the last game, he's not far away because he's so good. Mitch Marsh is bang or bust.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that. That's what you kind of want one of your openers to kind of be exactly that they go hard, they take the bowlers on, it works, it disrupts them. If not, that's okay. We've got some batting to come. And Aiden Markram, the fact that he scored some runs, last innings was really crucial. Because he needs to fire as well. You can't just rely on Marsh and Pooran to do it. And then hopefully Rishabh comes good. You need Markram as well. Because I think he'll be that kind of glue around all of the big attacking players.
And it's so great to have him there because senior citizen, so much captaincy experience in franchise cricket as well as international cricket. He's a great guy to have as a foil then for both Pooran and Mitch Marsh.
And a great team man. He is the ultimate team man. You hear all of the South African players who have played under Markram, anyone even at SRH when he was there, in and around that dressing room, franchise cricket around the world, everybody loves Aiden Markram. As a human being, as a player, he's got genuine skills. Probably could bowl more, and we might see that later on in the tournament as well. The off-spin certainly comes into play for him, but he's just a great man to have in and around any team. Genuinely good bloke, good cricketer, and a very smart cricketer as well. And as the captaincy experience shows, that he's got a lot to offer anyone in and around that dressing room. So, yeah, it's some power. I think that's what I love about this side. And I'm not sure that anybody in world cricket hits the ball harder than Mitch Marsh. They call him Bison for he is an enormous human being. He's got a massive head and huge shoulders to go. But that's where the Bison comes from. He is just an enormous human being and so strong. And that combo with him and Nicholas Pooran, I think, is fantastic at the top of the order for LSG. And Pooran's game it's still developing. What is he, 29? Something like that?
29.
29. Yeah. So, and I think it's still developing. And what has developed so much more is what Lisa just mentioned. I think the mental side of his game, the ability to assess situations, the ability to play according to that situation, and not just be a one-trick pony. And his offside game is continuing to get better and better. So you don't have many outs with Nicholas Pooran. You can't just tuck him up on his hips because he'll flick your leg side. You can't go wide to him because he's opened up that offside game a lot better in the last couple of years. He's such a talent. And, Klaasen probably had the wood there for about 18 months as the number one T20 batter in the world. I think this bloke's got it now.
Yeah, and of course, Mitch Marsh and Nicholas Pooran are both playing for Lucknow, who are going to be batting first. We'll show you their team. They've made no changes, so it's going to be the same batting order. We're going to end up seeing Rishabh Pant at 4. There's Ayush Badoni, David Miller, Abdul Samad, Digvesh Rathi. They've got Shardul Thakur, Avesh Khan and Akashdeep. And then they will get a bowler in when they come into bowl. And I think looking from that,
Siddharth?
Manimaran Siddharth.
Yeah.
They've got Prince Yadav as well.
Prince Yadav.
I think they've got their option depending on what they
see.
It's Ravi Bishnoi. Yeah. It'll be Ravi Bishnoi.
Ravi.
Yeah, Bishnoi, yeah.
It'll be Bishnoi. They'll definitely play with their retained player, their first draft in the auction, etc. So, Ravi Bishnoi is probably going to come in there. All right, we'll look at the Knight Riders team. They've made one change, playing a bit of musical chairs here between Moeen Ali and Spencer Johnson. Right? So I guess they're just looking at the surface and going with it. They've got enough spin with Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan, of course. So they've got young Spencer Johnson in. trial by fire, right, Lisa, for him? Coming in bowling to some of the best in the biz.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be up for it, that's for sure. And I mentioned it last time, it feels like KKR have just replaced a left arm quick with a left arm quick, but he's completely different to Stark and experience and understanding of conditions. I'll give you a bit of a story. During the Big Bash, he had a strange injury. He actually had to have like a little plate under his foot because he wasn't, he had like a fracture or something like that. But the problem was a lot of the fast bowlers went around going, mate, like how many pairs of shoes do you have? He goes, just the one.
Yeah.
Do you strap up your toes? No. They're like, mate, look after your asset. Like that, your feet is everything that's important to you. And it hadn't quite equated because, I mean, he's only just burst onto the scene really a few years ago.
Yeah.
So he doesn't quite understand the workload, the damage, how much he has to look after.
It's not a great advertisement for fast bowlers, Lisa.
Sorry.
It's not great for the you know, sort of
Look, you're not doing any
history of fast bowlers.
Foot modelling. Foot modelling career is gone for fast bowlers.
Yeah, tell us about the toes, Dooley. Tell our viewers how much and what pressure comes on the toes.
I had a cobbler, a cobbler, a shoe man, where I sort of started my cricket and grew up in Pukekohe, and every time I got a brand new pair of boots, and I got well looked after from a very nice company, which we don't do sponsorship brands on the show, but I would get sort of 3-4 pairs of boots at the start of the season, and I would take them straight into the cobbler. He would cut the hole in the toe, so basically just in here for the big toe.
Yeah.
He would cut it, and then he would stitch all around it, and then glue and everything, and because my toe would just sort of poke through, and you end up with your sock poking out the hole in the boot. And that was the early days. I'm going back to the late 80s, early 90s when boots were nowhere near, black and white TV. But boots were nowhere near as good as they are nowadays. They're more of a trainer type situation now. So they fall apart a lot quicker, but they're a lot more comfortable now. Yeah. But I had no toenail on my left foot basically for my whole career because it would just come off every time. So, I mean, they are the most important thing in a bowler's armoury, a comfortable pair of boots. So, yeah, I mean, it just shows you where, and you imagine a lot of the young Indian players coming through the system. Yeah. It'd probably be very similar. You know, one pair of boots. All of a sudden, you're into a situation where you're bowling every day and your boot falls apart and you've got tape all around it. So they are such a vital part of a bowler's armoury.
Siraj told me that he started his career, he played tennis ball cricket. He used to play in flip-flops. He used to come running in flip-flops and bowl with that.
Can't see that.
So I don't even think he had a proper pair of bowling boots till he was, I think, 17. Wow. Maybe off by a year or two here. But well into his teens, at the end of his teens, is when he had. So, there's some stories there. There's some other stories where kids who are in the system now, who are getting well looked after by state associations at the age of 12, 13. So I think just sports science coming in, those are the stories you hear more. So it feels a little strange that there's still someone rocking up with just one pair of boots. But good, he's got the advice now. And
I went on a tour to England, and I won't name names. One of our fast bowlers who came on his first tour, and he had a similar situation, quite raw, quite fresh. We had an 9-week tour of England, and he bought one pair of cricket socks. He had one pair of socks. So between Danny and myself and the other 3 bowlers on the tour, we all sort of had to gift him a pair of socks to make sure he could get through the first few weeks of the tour.
Try and guess who the bowler is. It's not Danny and it's not Dooley. All right, I'll think of a few names. We'll come back to it in a second. Dion Nash?
No, you won't get it.
We'll get there. But let's look at do we see the impact subs for KKR? Let's have a look at them as well, because they'll be getting a batter in, because they're going to be batting second. So
Raghuvanshi, no?
They're going to get Andresh Raghuvanshi, So that's...
It's been good.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of talent, a lot of skill. I guess just would like to go one more level up, that's all. You know, would like to see him finish an innings or finish a chase or whatever it may be, but otherwise there's a lot to like about him.
Yeah, there's a tale of 2 captains here, which is quite interesting, right? There's Ajinkya Rahane, who was just till a few years back, you were like, man, does he play T20 cricket? Doesn't he? Goes to CSK, you see this new side of him. Then he comes to Knight Riders, and it's so interesting because they didn't pick him up till I think it was the 3rd round or much later in the auction, and which is why everybody thought with the aggression that they went after Venkatesh Iyer, everybody thought that that would translate into them looking at him as captain. And they've chosen Ajinkya Rahane as a captain. Everybody backs that. Great bloke, great mind. But again, just showing that you're never too late to learn new tricks.
No, and you're always entitled to improve. And, I mean, he's another one that I put up there with Aiden Markram, a terrific human being, Ajinkya Rahane. Just such a lovely, lovely guy and a very smart cricketer. And I think that's one of the key things with him as well. And, you know, their strategy may be, we've paid a lot of money for Venkatesh Iyer. We see him as a future captain, but he needs a year, maybe 2 years, under a vastly experienced Indian Ranji Trophy, you know, skipper.
Test captain.
Test captain as
Test
well,
captain. So maybe that's a really good strategy from Kolkata, I think, in saying, you need to learn here, Venki, under this guy, because maybe not next year. Maybe Ajinkya keeps the job next year. But in 2 years' time, we see you taking this franchise forward for the next 4, 5, 6 years. So that's why we've paid the money for you. We want you here, but we want to give you some guidance for a year or two. And I think there's probably not many better in India to have that guidance from than Ajinkya Rahane. Just happens to be that he's actually playing very good cricket still, and still playing aggressive enough to be in the side purely as a player.
Yeah, and that catch that he made the other day. I mean, he's no spring chicken.
No.
But that was a really good catch.
36 years of age and still moving well, right?
Yeah.
You know, having a good domestic season, good preparation, you know, good pre-season, all of that is so important to be able to, at the pointy end, still be able to do what you need to do. But I agree with Dooley in the sense that you get a sense you need calm, cool, collected characters as captains in IPL, simply because of the circus that goes with it, right?
Great.
So he certainly ticks all of those boxes. So it makes a lot of sense. And if there's someone under him learning the skills, perfect person.
We're looking at the other captain now, Rishabh Pant, because he's now got runs. There's been 4 games now. And first, let's address, you know, the big elephant in the room, because he was, of course, the biggest bid, the biggest check in the auction, so to speak. But what Sanjeev Goenka said about that was great, because it just instantly, and we've been talking about this for the last 18 years, right? The player doesn't decide how much money they're going to go for. That's free market economy, etc., etc. Should they be wearing it on their shoulder? Should that be a weight on their shoulder? And Rishabh doesn't seem like the character who would let it weigh on his shoulder. And I think they've got the quote from the ownership as well, where Sanjeev Goenka said that it doesn't matter to us, right, how much money we paid. If 27 is the number we got him, if it had been 28, then that would have been the number. So they just wanted to go after the guy that they believed for being the strong leader around whom they build the team. He has the intent that they want, and the number is just incidental.
And this is coming from a very successful businessman as well.
Yeah.
And when you're running businesses, it's not a lot different to running cricket franchises. What do we need? We need a strong leader, someone who everyone is going to listen to, someone who people can come to, not just a dictator.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Lisa's point about captaincy. It's such a good point, because you have to have someone who, you know, we hear stories about MS's door being open the whole time in the hotel. Players being able to wander in, wander out whenever they like.
Yeah.
Rishabh has to be very approachable. I feel he is. I don't know the guy that well personally, but I feel he just looks like that type of character.
He is, completely.
That is very approachable for all players, whether you are fresh 18, 19-year-old, or whether you're a senior player in the side. And you know, what Sanjeev Goenka is saying there is exactly right. That's how you run a team. Now, does it guarantee success? No, it doesn't. But it's the building blocks that you put in place to try and have that success. So all he needs now, and his currency, is runs. And what we talked about yesterday, from a captaincy point of view, your captaincy doesn't really start when you're batting. It starts in the field.
Yeah.
And his job now is just to be Rishabh Pant, the batter, and score runs. And if you're doing that, then what happens in the field will feel a little bit easier. And I think that's all he needs now. He just needs a score. He needs some runs.
Do you think he actually hasn't played a lot of T20 in the build-up? Do you think that is also, he looks a little bit lost. Do I go straight away? Do I kind of get myself fit?
Yeah.
It feels like he's just caught in two minds at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like his natural game, right? This format, which seems so counterintuitive to everyone, going, he hits the ball so well. But It's one of those Virender Sehwag things, right? Which nobody ever thought with that kind of technique or the way he played, he's a bona fide test grade, like 8,000 plus runs in test cricket. Rishabh's probably going to end up the same way if he stays fit and keeps playing. He just decimates attacks in test cricket.
Yeah.
But suddenly T20 cricket, maybe they just know what he's going to do. They can second guess him because he's got less than 2,000 runs in 4 innings.
One player he could really take a hard look at is David Warner. You think about how David Warner burst onto the scene as a purely a T20 player, you know, from a little bit of obscurity and then turn himself into a great test match player, a terrific T20 player and white ball player. And Rishabh Pant has got all the game for test match cricket. I mean, test match is his best format to me. And he looks absolutely class. It's a tempo thing for him. He's just not sure what tempo.
Yeah.
And your point about, you know, he doesn't know whether to go or whether to stay or it's just a tempo thing for me because he's got all the shots. And another one I talk about, reactionary.
Yeah.
Just react, mate, because you've got the ability and the fast hands and everything to react to whatever comes to you. As soon as you premeditate, you get yourself in trouble.
And today even more so because he's up against two of the best in the business when it comes to spin, and spin has been his Achilles heel.
Kryptonite, hasn't it?
Harder than Achilles heel. Actually, that is kryptonite. You're right. It's not Achilles.
But we've seen oppositions now go as soon as he walks in, right? Next over, spin.
Yeah.
If not spin already, right? And that's where he's getting himself caught. So this is where you need strong coaching staff around him just to go, nah, this is what I want you to do. So if he's in his head, if he's thinking too much, give him something else to think about.
Okay.
You know, something else to focus on so that he's not thinking internally, what am I doing? What can I do? Or something like that. So
his strike rate, like I looked at it against spin, is just, it's a runner ball basically, right?
Yeah.
Which actually I'm thinking is not a bad strategy for him against spin.
100%. It's just
Take the single, go the other side.
What I was about to say, the best place for him to be facing Narine and Chakravarti is at the other end.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? You get one. And if I'm talking to Rishabh Pant, I'm saying against spin, your first 10 or 12 balls, I don't want to see one ball hit in the air.
yeah.
I want you to hit the ball as hard as you like along the ground only for the first 10 or 12 balls. Get to the other end, take your one. Let the bloke at the other end take him on if he wants to, if he's got the skills to do that. But your first 10 or 12 balls, I just want you to get yourself in at a runner ball. He'll get a boundary ball and he'll be good enough to put it away from the seamers or the spinners, but don't go searching for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that happens with him. So maybe that's not a bad strategy for him. He's up against Sunil Narine and Varun Chakravarti. Now, we talk so much about Sunil Narine, the batter, because it's just that kind of spice, right? He comes up top and just gives you excitement. But Sunil Narine, the bowler, right? It's the exact opposite. There's no excitement. It's just a precision robot, day in and day out for 13 years now with this franchise, just doing his job, no fuss, no smile, no celebration, going home. Put him back in the box, take him out, does his job.
You got to plug him in first.
Plug him in.
To recharge.
Recharge.
Especially at the age he's getting, right?
Yeah. And I feel like he's like solar panel charging, like he's just in the sun and he charges himself.
Probably. Apart from when he had to change his action.
Yeah.
That's been the only kind of blip from a bowling point of view. And it took him a little while to kind of still be effective with the new action and understand what he can and can't do, right, from a physical body point of view.
Yeah.
But he's a clever guy. He figured it out and he's back to where he is. I mean, even from a batting point of view, we thought there was a couple of years ago, we were like, what are they doing? Get him out. What? And then it goes bang and then has that amazing year. So he's a smart guy. He thinks about his cricket a lot. You know, I think speaking to Ian Bishop, he watches a lot of cricket. He takes a lot in. So that can only help you, right?
It's great that the hiccups that he's had, you talk about the blips that he's had, he's used the blip as a springboard because in 2020 when he had his issue with the action, he's come back and then since then with his remodeled action, he's the most economical bowler in this tournament.
Yeah, and just a change from prior to, I mean, the hiding the ball.
Yeah.
He's sort of, I don't say he's developed another delivery, but he's perfected particularly the off spinner. I mean, that's a brute of a ball now because he really grips it. It turns a lot. He's got that floater, which he bowls beautifully. I'd like to see him bowl one in the power play.
Yeah.
He's a reluctant power play bowler. I mean, I've been to a few tournaments where he's been captain and he's not bowling himself when his team's under the pump. I'd love to see him bowling over in the power play just to take a bit of pressure off Chakravarti having to bowl in the power play. Just change it up a little bit. But he's got serious skills. He has had for a long, long time. And, there's still batters around the world who don't pick him and struggle to pick him. So he's a great asset to any side.
There's two blips he's had. So there was 2015, his action got called and then remodeled in 2020. So I hope it's not like the general elections because it's 2025 now, every 5 years.
It must be hard. Look, I've never been through it, but bowlers that have been through it. It's a very, very difficult thing to be called for chucking. It's not easy to go through that. And
there's a lot of stigma.
Yeah, there is.
Around it
and
as well.
there's always going to be talk. I mean, Murali had it all his career.
Yeah.
His whole career, he had that stigma around him. And even now people say, oh, well, his record's not really his record.
Yeah.
You get people, idiots, who say that. Narayan's decision to step away from international cricket, that was one of the big decisions for him, to get away from international cricket. That was where he was being exposed and being called and just play the franchise stuff around the world. I mean, that's a tough decision for him to make as well. So there's a lot going on in that head of his, I think, that people probably don't appreciate or understand how tough a toll that took on him. I'm sure he would have loved to have played for the West Indies continuously, but, he probably felt, you know what, this is where I'm getting called, this is where I'm getting the most sort of exposure, and it's taken its toll on me. So that would have been a really tough decision for him to make. And you got to be mentally so strong to come back from that sort of thing.
And Sunil Narine has, a fan on the other side, which is Digvesh Rathi. And I saw this really cute video where Rishabh took Sunil Narine to meet Digvesh Rathi. And Digvesh Rathi is saying, I'm a huge fan. I've modeled myself in front of you. And then Sunil Narine said, somebody said that, but your celebrations are very different.
No, hang on.
Puran said it.
It's very much like the CPL. Because they obviously provided an award for the best celebration. So that's where it's so he has but Sunil Narine doesn't get involved in it.
Yes.
He's that next level above.
Yeah, he's zen. And Digvesh Rathi got involved in it and Puran asked him, but he doesn't celebrate like that, so why do you? He says, because I'm from Delhi.
Brilliant.
Absolutely made sense. We can be accused of a lot of things, but underplaying is not one of the things that we from Delhi get accused of. So that doesn't happen. But he's been so impressive as well. I've liked him as a little, flamboyant character with the hair. He keeps getting docked match fees. Doesn't stop him from celebrating. Just keep celebrating, dude. We'll crowdfund the fine. Don't worry, you keep doing it.
So hang on, what did he go for in the end? 30 lakh?
His auction price was 30 lakhs, yes.
And he's at 50 lakh? In fines?
Yeah, I think he's...
The team have got to be paying those.
He's like,
as a business, you call that loss leader, where something is really good for your profile and you lose a little money on it. Okay. I'm sure the ownership will go, don't worry, we'll sign the checks. You keep going.
I don't like it. I love the celebrations. I don't think he's done anything at all wrong. I've seen senior players, Indian players, do way worse, be in your face, in players' faces, and not get a fine. They're making an example of a young man who is making a note in his notebook.
Yeah. No, but the one, I get that point, because I agree with you, there's some in your face, but I don't appreciate the batter's like halfway to the dugout and he chases, bolts over and then just stands next to him. And I'm like, come on, mate. If he's walking past, I've got no issues.
In
that moment.
Okay, so the first
that was Priyansh, and the backstory is that they play domestic together, so they're buddies.
So they're friends.
They're
friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the match referee's got to understand that side of it.
I completely agree with you on context.
I agree that it's not in your face, but don't go...
No, that's fair enough.
But I'm just saying this goes back to, if you remember, there was this, I loved it last year. If you remember Ishant Sharma and Virat Kohli, where he was Delhi and Bangalore. Yes. And it was so much fun. And Ishant also went behind Virat and Virat's laughing.
Yeah.
nobody looks at that because you know the context.
Yes.
So I get your point with the context that, these are young players. Nobody knows that they're friends from a long time. So maybe get to know that context as well.
just a little bit.
But I don't know, will we see that celebration?
I hope we do.
I hope we do.
I've got no issues as soon as he gets the wicket
Kesrick Williams
to do
started the
it.
notebook.
Yeah,
Kesrick Williams down in the
that's
CPL.
right.
He had the notebook and then he just sort of
One sec.
ripped the page.
Who did it
Give
against? Who did it against Virat, and then Virat did it back?
Well, that would have been
Against
Kesrick.
him.
That would have been Kesrick in a
against
T20
him.
game or a.
There you go.
Because he only played T20, I think, for the West Indies.
Virat wrote the final note in that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It was
Shut the book.
It was great fun.
Done. Later.
Great fun.
Bye-bye. All right. Knight Riders will be hoping that their two young Indian bowlers can do some damage for Lucknow at the top. Quick word on both Vaibhav Harshit and Harshit Rana.
Yeah, a lot to like about both. Slightly different, and one swings it more in, the other one swings it more away, but the good, tall lads hit the deck hard, mid to late 130s, can get into the early 140s. There's a lot to like about the Indian bowling talent, even without some guys you think that have maybe just fallen off the radar a touch, or some with injuries as well. But there are two guys that I'm very impressed with it. And, if your team can be built around a strong Indian batting core and one or two, normally you would see Indian spinners and a few more overseas quicks. But this team is built around two very good local quicks, I think. And
then add Varun Chakravarti to it, the spinner.
So you've got two quality local quicks and a quality local spinner.
Yeah.
It makes for a really nice mix in any team.
Excellent. Well, listen, the game's about to get underway, so we'll have a look at our Joy Factor question. Let's see what Joy has sent today. Bring it up on the screen. Yashasvi Jaiswal's 124 is the highest score by an uncapped player in this league. Was the highest score by an Indian who never got capped.
Ooh. Oh, I know this one.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I know this.
Are you thinking of Paul Voltati?
Yeah.
Oh, what did I? Have I just...
You've just given it away.
Oh, giving it away?
Yeah. You're giving it away.
Oh, is that the answer?
It was in the final, wasn't it?
Is it? Is it?
What year are we talking?
Oh, gosh, you're going back to 2008. 9?
8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
In the final, he got 100.
I'm just telling people that...
Good, you two.
Yeah.
Well done.
I am definitely not a repository of any information, so don't trust me. And I'm not trustworthy. So those are two reasons why you should not go with
wouldn't
my
say I
answer.
was either, to be honest. But that was just that was the name that came straight to my head.
There you go. Is it it? Is it it? Better call Paul.
Not so.
No, because that's trouble. All right, send in your answers to hashtag Cricbuzz Live, hashtag Joy Factor. We got a score guesses. Lucknow batting first at Eden Gardens. How much are they going to get? I got a number in mind.
Lisa's new to the scene, so she can...
What do you mean? I'm like,
I haven't worked with you before. Come on.
okay, 201.
Ooh. You got a score in your mind?
Yeah.
Go on. I'm just kicking the table, so you just carry on.
Oh, righto, champ.
He's serious. Well, I said it yesterday. He's earned the arrogance.
Did you get any right yesterday?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, you.
He's earned the arrogance.
Yeah, thanks.
He's right up top.
Thanks.
I'm thinking 213.
213. Okay. I think they've chosen to bowl first because it's going to be a tougher surface. I'm going to go 100 and Aussies here. 187.
187.
Hope he doesn't get it now. This arrogance. I don't know about this arrogance.
It's crazy.
Like the
All
Aussies.
right, well, that's all we have time for. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. I'll leave the Aussie and the Kiwi here to sledge each other. They'll probably be here till we begin the next Cricbuzz Live. So go on, have your fun. I'm going to go have lunch. Thank you for watching. Voltas FreshAir Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Express, Station, Netaji Bhavan.